Okay. Yeah. So we're going to discuss about the basic concepts of a relational database. So I'm going to start. Start with what is a data. So a data is something which we get, which we used to get for any of the for any customers which you are working with. So I believe people are joining as a graduates. So we will speak with understanding mostly related to the undergrads. So let's take a simple example starting from a university or student database. So in your class, you will understand like currently I see around 30 people, close to 30 people are joining in our session now. So if you want to capture all the data related information, so we will need some relational database to store all the information. And we have to simply split the data according to the normalized forms. I'll clearly discuss about. I have prepared like some 2 or 3 PPTs where we are going to discuss about this. What is the data and a relational database and non-relational database? So relational data is something which is interrelated with each and every table. So I believe each one of you are familiar with computers and you guys are working on Windows. Maybe while you're in the COVID situation, you might have joined online classes. So you guys have some basic understanding on how you manage your regular day-to-day activities with your PC. So with this, if you have some basic understanding, then it will be quite easy. After completing your graduation, whatever the path you are choosing for, whether you want to become an application developer, .NET developer, or a database developer, data scientist, machine learning uh, expertise, any roles, any kind of roles, the minimum expectation is we need to have a basic understanding on a database. So database understanding is a quite a basic need. Without this understanding, whatever the role you choose, it might not be a smooth ride for you. So I would suggest you to strongly please go through this topics I'm going to share at the end of the session. If you are speaking, you can ask me. Else, I would request everyone to please go on mute.
It's the noise is coming from Vidya, I believe. Vidya, can you please mute your mic?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vijay. Yeah. So for any kind of roles we are looking for, whether it is you say machine learning or a data scientist roles, application .NET developer. So the expectation is whatever the application roles we have to store at the end of the day, we have to store the data into the database. So a relational database and non-relational database is there. So in this databases, we are going to store 3 types of data. So data is divided into 3 types. One is a structured data. Second type is semi-structured data. And the third one is unstructured data. So we are mostly speaking today about a structured data which we are storing in relational database. So even the other 2 types also we can store in a blob storage. We are once we got some deep understanding, then only we will get understand what is the other 2 types. Let's say if it is a structured data, what is a structured data? So in your university, so we have a student related database if you want to create. So what are all the different types of tables we are going to create? So we will have a student table and we will have a contacts related table and university information, subjects, class, all the different types of tables we will create and we will relate them with each other. So this is called as a relational database. So this is going to be like a table which you create in a SQL Server. As Microsoft, I'm talking about Microsoft SQL Server. So the relational database, we have different companies are offering a nice varieties of database servers they are providing. Like from Oracle side, we have Oracle, MySQL. Free tools are there, so you can practice in whichever comfortable software you like. So it's just a way, Google away. You just Google the software, you download it, and you start exploring it. It's quite easy. I'm not saying it's very hard. I want you to spend like months of time to understand what is a database. Database is it's a very simple language. It's how you speak with each other in English in a similar fashion. You write a queries. It's very very easy, but understanding is needed for you. So that is the reason we are having a very high level initial talk. We are doing it. So if you look at this structured data, unstructured data, let's take an example of an unstructured data. You guys scroll through this Instagram, WhatsApp, even this Facebook, right? So there will be few images people will be posted, and someone will tweets. They does the tweets using a Twitter. All the data will be an unstructured data and semi-structured data. They are classified into different ways. So currently, we can store each and every type of data into a relational database, into a SQL Server or MySQL or Oracle, anywhere. So what is a SQL? So let's take, so if you want to understand a basic high level programming, what is a SQL? SQL is a structured query language. So it's not like, a very high level programming or anything. It's just a backend programming, and it's very, very easy for you to start digging through it. I'll provide you a couple of links for you to start with as well. So you can start exploring what is a SQL. So SQL is designed for managing a data. So if you look at this relational database, it's a kind of a data stored in your computer that is structured. It is structured in very much in a practiced manner that makes the data easily accessible. Let's take a simple book. So how index is there? If you want to go to particular topic, you will simply go through that index, which topic you want to refer, you will directly navigate to that particular page. So in this way, you have an indexes created for a SQL Server. A data will be stored. So the best example for a database is a book. So how you manage your data, the best way to write a SQL programming is how a book looks like. If your query, if you're creating a database in such a way, it looks exactly like a book, the indexes are properly created for the data, then your database is working perfectly fine. So you have to understand there are 4 operations which we will do in a database. Like once you created a database, so the operations what we call is CRUD operations. CRUD operations means CRUD, create. So you want to create some data. You want to read the same data what you have created. R stands for reading. U stands for updating the data. And finally, D stands for deleting a data. I will take you through a live simple demo to understand what I am referring to. So I will run through you with all the CRUD operations, what the SQL is offering inside a SSMS window itself directly. So data definition language and data modification language is it's the above 4 operations are divided into 2 definition languages. So if you are defining, like you are creating a table that will comes under data definition language, and the modification, like you are adding some data, deleting some data, and updating some data. So create, update, and delete falls under this modification language, DDL and DML. So I want you to take through this SQL Server once. Let me open a SQL Server for you. If you have any questions, please raise a flag. I think there is a raise symbol in your window. If you have any questions, if you don't really want to speak directly here, you can type in a message, or if you're good enough to ask a question, please unmute yourself and ask questions, whatever you have. If I'm going way too fast, just let me know, please. So this is how a database window looks like. So you can download the SQL Server window. So it looks like this. So the SQL, Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. We call it the short way of calling it as SSMS. So that is SQL Server Management Studio. So you can comment. There are different ways of writing a code. So let me first take you through a database. I have created a database called AdventureWorks, so which is available online for you. You can simply you can simply download this database available online and download the related software SSMS and you start working on it. I'm having around here like some 50, 60 tables where we can run through what we are discussed so far. So what is the different types of CRUD operations this offers? Okay, let me open one simple table. Let me take you through this person table. I hope you are able to see the data clearly. If not, I can zoom it a bit. So here what I'm going to do is I just fired this query, select star from the table, person table, and I try to execute this table. Now I got if I got all columns with all the data loaded into this. So I have different persons available in this database in this particular table, Rob, a first name and last name with different suffix. And if you take a look at the address, business entity, so there are different tables available here with proper indexing. If you remember index, what we have discussed, index for a book. So I wanted to repeat that again because that is quite important for while creating a database. If you create some 10 tables and without any relation to each and every table, that makes no sense. So if you want to create a table and you just show it up, you created a relationship to that with a secondary table, what you have created. So like let's take a simple, I will also show the other PPT which I have created it. Yeah, yeah, let's take a simple database. So if you look at the database, we have a student related information, university, so from which university he is studying, and what is the student's contact information, and what is the course he opted for. Let's say I have opted for CSE, you opted for mechanical, I opted for IC, someone else opted for robotics. So for each course, there'll be like 5 to 6 professors who will be dealing that course. Like for CSE, we have different tools like C, C++, Java, Oracle, and different subjects. It's like more than 12 years. I'm really sorry, I can't remember any of the subjects. So for each subject, we have different professors and professor information. So let's take this is a kind of database. If you want to create, you will understand like this is how a student related information will be stored. So while creating a database, you will have two types of data models. This is going to be a conceptual data model, and the next one we are going to see a logical data model. Now you got some crude understanding of what is needed. If I take you to a next page, there you will understand like what are all different columns I need. So let's say if I say student, it should contain some columns and what data is needed in this and what is the contact information. Contact information will provide your phone number, your house, home address and everything. Let me take you to the logical data model. So in student table, I have student related information. What is the date of birth, student name, from which state he is originated from, what is his current city, and the country of his birth, and different other information. So if you take the geographical information. So what is a city and state? All the information will be stored in this particular table and university related. So university ID will be here. This is how you join these two tables. So you have university ID here and university table is there. You maybe you're graduating from Mangalore local university. So you will have your university ID mapped here and the same for each student. Let's say my name is there. My name is Rakesh. I will provide all my database information like date of birth, state, city, country. And if I say university ID as some Hyderabad University, one of the JNT University. So I will have uh, Hyderabad University related information will be stored here. So I will start mapping these two with the help of this key. And same is the case with contact information. If you see these two, can anyone tell what is the relation between the student table and contact info table? If anyone want to unmute yourself or you can send out a message. What could be the joining key between these two?
Student ID.
Perfect. Got it right. So with this, in this way, you will create a mapping between the tables, and same is the case with the courses, professor information, and professor details. So in this way, you will start mapping the database and you will start loading the data. So I have already showed you person related query, so which I ran. So I got all person information. Let's assume that is a student information, and I have all mapping tables available. Then you are good to start loading the data. So I have created separate mappings with this professor details to geographical information. And so just a demo I want to show. I will go back to our SQL Server. Yeah. So this is how we create information. So if I want to insert any data into this table, and you can do all with the help of this insert command. There are separate SQL syntax which we will write. If you want to read this table, select star. Please don't confuse what is a star, why I need to write star. If you don't want to write star, you can simply write first name, first name. Don't bother. It is very quite easy. As I earlier told, we got an intelligence which will provide you what you are going to write. First name, last name. Select first name, last name from this particular person table. And if you try to run this, you will get only first name and last name information. And you can also say this, the below data which I am looking at is not arranged in order. So if I want to order it, I can say order by. So SQL Server is mostly created in a very common language which we speak. So if you want to insert any record into this table, you can simply say insert into person dot person, and I will provide all values. So let's say what is that I have. So in the SQL table, I have, oh my God, I have a lot many data. It is going to take a lot of time for me to write a query, but still I'll try to write. I will try to find a small table so that I can show you. Yeah, this looks good. So if I try to do an insertion, I will write person dot email address, and I will simply provide all information like business entity ID, some 10, and email address is some 12, and I will provide my own email address. I'll tell you what this get date is. If you try to run this get date, it will bring you the exact current time. currently the time is 6:25 p.m. It will bring you in a different. So you can convert this time into a different ways and load the data into it. So if I again ran it, you will see some seconds variation, 16, 17, 18. So you can use this query to load the data into this person. So this is going to be a explicit value for person. It's really stuff. Okay, I got some error. Yeah. So now I have this entry already. Let me do where I'm trying to find my new insertion, what I did just now. So this is the insert I did. I have my data available with the current modified date, which is 6:25, December 25th. This is how where we have registered our talk today. So this is one operation. So as I told that CRUD. So create, read, update, and delete. So we completed a create and read. So read is nothing but you are doing a select. Whatever the insertion we did, we just validated that. So that is how you do the selection. Updation is nothing but the same fashion. You do update table, update person email address. I'm changing the email address from this to something else. I'm changing it to test. Yeah. Now this got updated, and you can simply do a delete from this where address ID is equal to this. So I don't really want to waste time in that because we have lots and lots more to cover here. And I have the PPT is created for this for you for learning purpose as well. Let me show you this. Uh, so we have this demo. I for writing a queries for you to get understanding, I want you to just go through this link. So this is the link. It will take you to W3 schools. I hope you are already aware of this, or if not, then I would suggest you to please go through this link. This is the link. It will take you to this link. So if you take a look at the SQL query, you see W3 schools. It will provide you a SQL tutorial, how you can write a query. So what is a SQL and everything. Okay. And, let me take you to a technical documentation like how what is a SQL Server and how to start with. So what are all different softwares you need to download? And once you have downloaded, you can also download this database. I showed you this adventure works. You have all the tables with data. Everything is available for you. If you downloaded this database, you can simply Google it with the sample SQL Server database, where this database will be showing up, and you can use this database for playing around. You can delete and again restore whenever you want so that a fresh new database will be available for you. I want everyone to please play around with this. Now I will take you this one. Yeah. So the very first thing while everyone learning about a SQL Server is to understand joins. So what is a join? If I take you to this particular image, you will have a understanding. Like let's say if you are talking with the two tables and you wanted to bring out some valuable information out of these two tables, then uh, you can use this joins, SQL joins, like speaking with one table so far, what we did in SSMS window. Let me take you to this. So we have these two tables, person table and person email address. So if you want to combine these two tables and bring, currently I bought first name and last name. If I also wanted to see the email address of this guy, how I will do? I don't know his email address. And if you look at this table, person.person, if you look at this table, we don't have any email address on this table. So how you will bring this email address, which is located in another table, that is where this joins concept comes up. So you can use join like you have some in your college, out of 100 people, only 25 members doesn't have their email address. And if you want to bring that out, like I want to know who are those 25 people who doesn't have their email address until now, because that is surprise. Every student will have their own email address at the current moment. So if I want to figure out who doesn't have their email address, then I will use the left join. So I will take the person table and email address table and I will identify who doesn't have an email address, like who doesn't have an entry in the email table. I will filter them out with the help of left join or right join, uh, like different joins. This is how a SQL joins are going to work. So in this way, you can talk with two tables and bring out a meaningful data. So that's exactly what um, what is the use of having these joins. So let's say if you want to bring only people who have email address, then obviously they are 75 people out of 100. Then you will make use of this inner join. So inner join is, let's assume table one is person table, like student table, and table two is email address table. And if you want to bring only people have email addresses, then we can get all matching records in both the tables. That is where you will write the inner join. So I will take you to that. I will show you a simple query on how to write a inner join. Select star. So star means if currently I'm writing two columns here. If I want to see each and every column, then I really don't have a patience to write all the names like first name, last name, person type, person type, name style, and middle name. Oh my God, see this. This is going to be very painful. So what I will do, I will simply write, I'll replace by everything and I'll simply put star here. Star means I want everything. Select all columns from person table. So in this way, I will write a query. Select star from person dot person. What I'm going to do is inner join person dot email address. I want to look what is the common column that is available between these two tables. I have business entity ID available in email address table, and I have business entity ID available in my person table. So I will make use of it to join this person dot business entity ID. In this way, I'm going to filter all the records. All the matching records from both the tables. Yeah. Now, if you take a look at this, select star from person dot person, I got around 19,972 rows, like 19,000 persons are there. Close to 20,000 people are there. And if I take a look at this employee table, email address, I have all. So everyone has email address. There are no employees, like no students who doesn't have their email address. So we will get all records available. So all 19,972 records for us. Yeah. So this is how you will start writing your inner joins This is very important because mostly you'll be working like whenever you got a chance to work on a SQL server. So everyone will expect you to write this joins. So joins is very, very, very important. I would suggest everyone to please go through it. What is the necessity? I have created a simple a table related information, employee information, and gross salary. So how you will write a very basic joins, maybe you will understand if you go through it. Okay. What is the need? So currently we did inner join. So select star from first table, inner join second table. And same, exactly same is the case with select star from first join, first table, left join or right join or full join, anything. You are going to change directly here. That's it. We did inner join here. You can change it to left join. If you want to view only data that is available in person, but not in email address, then you can get this information available. So we are going to discuss about this data modeling. So we already had a simple understanding like what is a conceptual data model and logical data model. So this is how you create a data model. Like this is going to be a logical data model which has all column related information and the keys. I'm not really bothering looking at very complicated screens though. But there are different types of relationships, one-to-one relationship, one-to-many relationship. Let me take you to what is a one-to-one relation and one-to-many relation. One-to-many relation is, let's say, your professor. So your professor will deal your second year subjects, third year subjects, and fourth year subjects even. Maybe there are few professors who will handle multiple subjects for different years. So he will become like one to many relation. So he will have like multiple subjects dealing. Obviously, he has multiple entries available in the target table. So this is how you deal with multiple. So there will be subjects like in first year of your engineering, there will be subjects which won't repeat in your second, third, and fourth year. Obviously, expertise who are there in the first year, they will be done. Like the lecturers who tutored for the first year, they'll be remain only in the first year. I don't really want to go through this. We already had a discussion about how you create the student database, and I want everyone to go through these slides. This is quite simple for you, and I have created it in a helpful for you so that because you are students, so you'll understand what is that we are trying to have you so that you can relate each other. Let me take you to this in between. I wanted to ask, did anyone got any understanding why we used person here twice? Or else anyone taking a look at this table information. So we have person here, production here, purchasing, sales. Anyone, if you understood, if you know by any chance, not a problem. Okay. So the reason why this is separately created schema is so everyone is I believe everyone is familiar with the PC, right? So I want to just think of it how you store your data. So you have data like you have mark lists related and PDFs and some personal stuff, pics, images, family photos, music, videos, everything. Everything do you store everything in a single folder? No, right? So we will clearly define them and you will create a folder. You will write the meaningful name to that folder. So you are going to write a folder name as music and you will store all your MP3 files or your favorite music sitting inside that folder. And you create another folder that will say photos, and inside that you will create some personal photos, family photos, vacation trips, like different folders, and you will separately store them into a different folders. I don't think no one will store everything into a single folder, right? So that is how a differentiation you have to clearly do, so that while looking a glance itself at the folders, then you'll understand, okay, what is the need for creating to this particular folder. If I say music, and if you say music, you go inside it and you have videos and photos, that's pretty confusing, right? So I believe nobody won't do that. But I never did. If you do, that's fine. Okay. So in this way, I have created separate schemas like human resource. Human resources is something we call HR department, and person related information. If you see person, only specific to person related information will be stored here. Address, address type, business entity, contact, person at contact, person country, person email, person password, and person name. Person, if you say all person base information will be stored. And yeah, let's go back to the screen. I will store, I'm going to share the two presentations to you people so that you just go through these and you'll understand what is the need, why we have created so much like a very big PPTs, which we can't 100% cover in the single tech talk session, guys, because this SQL is like a sea, and it's very very easy for you to swim across, because SQL is just how you talk a regular English and you write queries according to it. So table creation, just now we spoke about how you properly organize your folder structure in your PC. In the similar fashion, you have to create a tables and code. So code formatting is very very important while writing a code. So see here, if you see an indentation, how I followed, I have written select star in one line and a table name in another line, and joining condition and second table, and the key. So this is there are different ways of writing SQL queries in a proper indentive fashion. If you are really not good at formatting, you can simply write how up to your comfort level. You can say person dot person inner join person dot email address on person dot business entity ID is equal to email address dot business entity. See, both are same. Both will result to exactly same count, 19,993. Sorry, 973. Even if you write this also, you will get the same thing. There's no difference at all, but indentation is going to play a major role, because today you are going to write a query, and tomorrow if someone else came and write this query, look at the query, he will understand this, but he can't understand this. You have to write very, very properly. The formatting is important while writing a query. So I have showed also some practices while writing a table, or while writing a SQL queries, creating a table, right, doing a CRUD operations. Okay, in this way you can create a table, and you can, yeah, the number of rows, the average row size, information on all the indexes, everything you can take care of it. Yeah. So data types is also important. So earlier we spoke about this particular get date. So get date, right? If you remember what a get date is. Get date will bring you the date time. If you take a look at this person.email address table, each column is storing different type of data. If you remember, if you clearly look at the data. So if you see these columns, these two columns are storing integers, right? In person.email address, one column is storing integers, and the second column is storing, anyone help me? What is it going to store? Exactly. Strings, varchar. So varchar and char, there are different types of data types. Data types are there. So data types, data type which will store integers, we will call it as int. Okay. There is a data type that is called money. We will also create few money related types. We will call them as float. Also recently, a data type created for money also. Money data type is also there for you. And char. Char. I will give you perfect example for char and varchar. So your hall ticket, on your hall ticket, you will see your ID. There will be an ID, right? So I don't know your ID. So one of your ID, like let's take for example, it will be very exact numbers will be provided. Like I will provide you my ID like this. So it will be exact, like all the university students is going to have these many numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So then you can provide, you have char 10 and varchar. If you don't know what is the number that is going to enter varchar, so anyone will have this email address. So for example, if you have an email address like 123 at the rate of Gmail address, and I have my email address like Rakesh at the rate of gmail.com. So the characters are going to change. Then we will provide this varchar, and we will provide to a maximum extent like 500, let's say. So anything below 500 it is going to accept varchar. But for char, you have to provide exact 10 numbers, then only it will take. If you provide 9, it will fail. It will provide 11, it will fail. So as per your requirement, like for your hall ticket exam ID, like for everyone, one roll number will be assigned. You guys can use that ID as char and varchar. And there are numerous data types. If you want, you can create a data type. And finally, this this is going to be GUID. Have anyone of you heard of it? We will call it as unique identifier. I believe it is 36 characters. This will provide a unique value, global unique identifier, and a GUID is one data type, and even date time is another data type. So there are a lot many data types. You can take a look at that while creating any of the table. You will clearly see what is the date. So if you provide, if you create a table and you provide a name and you provide it as date time, you can't enter your name or my name in this. You will only provide date here. So we have to provide proper data type. I will give varchar some 100. Then it will take up to 100 characters with different sizes. So this is how you start creating a table and loading a data into it. Let me create this table and I will show you what I am trying to say. This table is created. Select star from test. Nothing is there. If I do an insertion into test, insert into test, select Rakesh. And if I do a select star from test, now Rakesh is there. So if I provide any value here, that will be inserted. I'm sorry. All the values are stored here. And let's say if I created another table and I will say it as test1 and I provided date time. Okay. So now if I do select star from test1, you don't see any records. And if I try to insert, something, this is going to throw an error because it is expecting you to provide only date time. Hey, or just provide only data man, date man. Why are you providing string? It's clearly saying you. It is expecting data, a date, but we are providing a string. So it will throw an error, obviously. Same is the case. If you have a varchar and you know, anything can be stored in string, but not in date. So use proper data types while creating tables so that you will have a very, very nice database. A database will always should looks like a book with proper index creations and annotations. That is very much needed. Okay. And what exactly I want to cover? I think that's much. Yeah, we discussed about this partition code formatting. So if you are really lazy enough to write the code in this format, in Google, there are hundreds of SQL formatters. You can simply provide it. You just copy this code. You just copy this code, go to Google, type SQL formatter, and you paste it. And a beautification, code beautification will be done. You will get a very nice coding available for you. Okay. But don't forget to write, start working on, start learning what is SQL and start working on these queries. That will be very easy for you. So these are different best practices. I would suggest you to go through it. And a simple image, I want to share it to you so that for a people who who are lazy writers like this, I'll yes. When I wrote this code, I understood and God I understood. Now only God knows what I written. I don't know because I don't provide proper commenting, proper indentation in my code. I don't know what this is. So you have to start writing properly what I am writing. So if you say, you see how it looks like after 15-20 days, I don't even know what this is. So I have to properly give what is commenting. So in SQL Server, if you hit two hyphens, that is commenting. You can write whatever you want. You can write whatever you want in this comment section. So here, if you are doing this, if you have written a query, you don't know what it is. You can say, I have written this to bring match records with email address. Okay. Then you will understand, okay, I will simply read after 15-20 days, I'll come here, I'll look at the query, I don't understand what is the purpose I have written this query. Then I will write it. I have written this to bring matching records with email address. So, okay, then I will run this query and I'll understand, okay, I have around 19,000 records with email address. That is how you read this. Okay. Code formattings. You can do this as I told that, or you can, if you provide this particular code like this and you hit a indentation, then a code will be coming out like this in a very nice and beautiful looks. Okay. I think while creating any table, you can provide something like this. Who written this? What is the purpose of this code? Why I have written it? I think this is going to be very far for you, but just for your understanding, I'm providing you. I'm sharing this PPT for you so that you can have it with you and just go through it whenever you got stuck or anything. Okay. Yeah, I think I would like to summarize the session and I just open the floor for everyone. If you have any questions.